Right. Was is are we on? Are we on? I don't know if I don't even think the microphone picked up my bit. Can we hear me before I put my face on screen? Can I big can I get a big Russell Martin in the chat if you can hear me all right? You know? Anybody? Anybody? I'm hoping that this is working. Right, I can be heard. Good. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the live. And I tried to play. I don't know if the microphone picked up there because I'm as you can see, I'm using a different microphone. Um, I'd like to offer a moment of silence to our fallen soldier, our great Russell Muppet, Russell Martin, who is now gone and in a better place. He was relieved of his duties last night, and all I can say is, Glasgow is mourning. Glasgow is mourning, and it feels like this is happening all too often. It feels like we are we are losing these legends too frequently. Michael Beale, Giovanni Van Bronckhorst, Philippe Clement, Pedro Caixinha, Mark Warburton, and now, of course, adding to the list, vegan man himself, Russell Martin, Tony Vegetables, Kevin Vegan is gone, and I am devastated. But nonetheless, hello and welcome back. We will get to that part of the news later on. I've got a couple of things to address very quickly. Um, I hope that the audio is okay. As you will see, things look slightly different. The lighting isn't its usual self, it's a little bit all over the place. The microphone is different, and the stream quality might be slightly different as well. The reason being, I am in the process of switching PCs. I've got a new PC on the way. The old one is gone. I'm coming to you live from a laptop right now. I've got new lights in the studio. I'm going through a bit of a renovation process, simply put, and I'm not coming to you from the PC. I'm coming to you from my laptop, and I'm just glad that this microphone is compatible with a laptop, and I'm just glad that I can run all my softwares on a laptop. Smart investment, this laptop, safely said. And yeah, I'm coming to you live from that tonight. So if content is patchy over the next couple of days, that's why I'm awaiting the delivery of the new PC. It's probably going to be here on Wednesday. So bear with me through the week as I get things set up. If content quality isn't quite the same, if editing quality isn't quite the same, it's just a disclaimer that we are going through some changes. But nonetheless, we're live here tonight. I've got you all in the chat. It's good to have you. I can't turn my volume up any louder, I don't think. And if I could, I would. The microphone has very limited capabilities. Let me try this. Is that any louder? Does that sound any better? I've tried turning it up, but I am under a little bit of limitation. And if you can turn your telly or your phone up or whatever louder, it would be appreciated on your end. This is sadly what I need to roll with just now. So, um, yeah, we're here and we've got a lot to talk about tonight. Of course, a busy weekend. Celtic pulled out a last gasp winner against Motherwell to continue their unbeaten start to the season and to continue chasing Hearts, you could say. We scored right at the end to win in a game that was, it was pretty difficult. It was pretty difficult. But of course, the big news coming out of Ibrox that Russell Martin was sacked, and we have a huge meeting tonight. We have a huge meeting between Celtic fans and the board that is scheduled for some point this evening. It might be underway. And this is the first opportunity that the Celtic fans collective have had to communicate directly with the Celtic board in order to just seek some information and guidance on where the club is going moving forward. And we are hoping for good results. I think that I have resigned myself to the opinion that this meeting tonight won't solve too much. But I think that all the ammunition was there yesterday to go into, and of course Thursday, but I think all the ammunition was there yesterday to storm into that meeting today with a bit of authority in the Celtic support. This shouldn't be a case of sitting down and listening to what they have to say and just kind of nodding and agreeing. We saw the look on their faces at the end of the game. If you've not seen the viral images that are circulating the web after Celtic scored their winner, they looked miserable. And I think a big part of that was to do with the banner that was unveiled towards full time. And fair play to those who took that banner right in front of the faces of Michael Nicholson, Peter Lawwell, and Chris Mackay yesterday. I have nothing but respect for that banner being unveiled at the end of the game. We were moments away from another catastrophic result at Celtic Park yesterday, and I think that the fact that you see um, Peter Lawwell sitting there with a straight face on his phone as Celtic fans celebrate this third goal as there is jubilation and relief around Celtic Park, I think speaks volumes to the level of care and concern that these guys actually have for their club. So I think that there's plenty of ammunition for the supporters to go into tonight with and to demand answers and to put their point forward of what we're looking for. Now, this is the big thing, right? I know a lot of people have raised the concern and raised the point of are the people that are included in the meeting tonight going to actually go in and tell it to their faces that we want them to resign, that we want them out of the club? I'm not in direct communication with the steering group, and I haven't been since the initial meeting in Graces a few weeks ago. But I would assume so. There is nothing that's changed. And of course, this is being done democratically, and there's enough voices on that steering board to bring across many different opinions. Some people might not want these guys to resign, but I think that is going to be the case of the meeting. So we await the results. I have been emailed by the Celtic fan collective to be told that the results of the meeting will be emailed as soon as possible, and all matters will be discussed. I am aware that there is another meeting in the offing between all signatories of the open letter to the club as well, which is being planned for the next couple of weeks. So that will be another meeting in which we discuss the next steps moving forward and what went on at the meeting. As for those details, I don't have them yet. And I don't know when I'll have them exactly, but I'm hoping that there is something to be optimistic about. Now, Thomas, I see Thomas in the chat asking, why am I not there? The reason I'm not there is because I'm not a member of the steering group. So just to simplify it for people who might not fully understand what's happening with the representatives chosen, at the end of the initial meeting, people were asked to put themselves forward as steering group members, and they chose roughly 20 people to be on that steering group out of the 400 signatories. I didn't put my name forward. I let other people do it. I mean, by the time they asked the question, there was already 30 or 40 hands in the air, so I didn't see much use in sticking my hand up. But they've been chosen very carefully. I think they've been chosen very cleverly as well. And we'll hear back from what happens at the meeting tonight. And we know that Michael Nicholson and Chris Mackay are present or will be present. As for beyond that, there's no confirmation as of yet. Nobody knows if Brendan Rodgers is there. Nobody knows if other non-executive or executive board members are there. All we know for now is that Michael Nicholson and Chris Mackay are there. And we need answers. We need big answers because we have been vulnerable. We've started the season with a squad that simply isn't up to standard. And these are the guys who should be held accountable. So we'll wait and see what happens. And as soon as I have details that I have been allowed to share with you, um, as soon as I get an email through, just check my phone there, just in case there was some form of email. I was checking my phone. As soon as I get an email through with results of the meeting that I'm allowed to share with you all, I will share it as soon as I can, as I'm allowed to. So just stay with me on the channel over the next week, and hopefully we have something to update you on. But keep in mind that meeting is tonight. Celtic got away with it narrowly yesterday. I done my post-match reaction from the garage in Glasgow as I was preparing for commentary duties on ICW last night. So I've kind of aired all of my thoughts around that game. I think this international break has came at a vital time for Celtic. We needed this international break. Listen, I'm happy that we've won, and I think, as I said, my sort of main takeaway from yesterday is that I'm really happy that Celtic still have that bite in them and that bit of motivation and energy in them to go and win these sorts of games late on. Because even though I'm not impressed with what I seen yesterday as a whole, even though I still have a lot of concerns after watching yesterday's game, both from a tactical perspective and from a performance perspective, with the players in the park and the manager, both of them deserve criticisms for large portions of yesterday's game. I'm very happy that we still have that about us to go and win those sorts of games and win these games late, because that was something that I just thought was gone from this team. I thought that we lost that magic and that bite in us, that energy in us to go and push for these games late on. And just as the game was escaping us late, Dyson Maeda pops up with a huge, huge goal. So yeah, Celtic, of course, now sit behind Hearts on the table heading into this second international break of the season. I think it's timed itself perfectly for Celtic. This is now time for us to regroup. This is time for us to come back stronger from the international break. We really need to win our first European game upon the return of the international break, but we need to be more equipped domestically as well. We need to be scoring goals. Listen, 3 goals yesterday for Celtic. It doesn't feel like very often nowadays we get to see Celtic scored 3 goals. So we need to be scoring 3 goals and 4 goals and 5 goals more often. And I think that Brendan Rodgers will certainly have that bite about him coming back from the international break. I think his ego has probably taken some damage these past few weeks, seeing the stick that he's had to go under. And these players ultimately look. I don't mind an ego. I don't. I don't mind that Rodgers has an ego. I don't mind if players have an ego, as long as they utilise it in the right ways. Benjamin Nigren, for example, yesterday, he didn't utilise his ego in the right way. The first thing he done after scoring his goal was run away and cup his ears to the Celtic fans when he should have been picking up the ball and heading back and trying to get a third. Um, let's eradicate that. But if you are fragile with your ego, use it to motivate you. Benjamin Nigren and other players, and not just him, I don't want to just target him, for example. I just think that if you have that ego, if you have something that can be damaged quite easily, and you want to prove people wrong, use it then. And that is now the job of these Celtic players upon return of the international break, is to go out and prove everybody wrong. And what you're saying about you at the start of the season, I mean, I look at somebody like Mikael Ange-Balak-Wisha yesterday, who has been under constant criticism since the signing of him in late August. And yesterday he gets a big assist, and that's the kind of thing that we need him to encourage himself to move on and show us why we spent 5 million on him. You know. So yeah, it's a huge couple of weeks for Celtic. I think we all need improvement. Apologies, didn't want it to go cold. I think we all need to see improvement firsthand when we return from the international break. And it's a tough run we've got. I mean, we've got those European games. We have to go to Tynecastle. Listen, the thing is, Hearts right now have had a great start to the season, but they aren't a credible threat as of right now to the league title. People might not like me saying that, and if you're getting carried away with thinking that Hearts are a credible threat at this moment in time, then I think you're a little bit paranoid. Hearts need to be in this position come January or February time to be a real threat to Celtic's title. That's not just opinion, that's fact. Yeah, it's October. Titles aren't won in October, and Hearts have a long way to go. And just like many teams who've started seasons like this before, including Aberdeen as recent as 1 year ago, October isn't when you start getting carried away. And I'm not taking that away from Hearts fans who are entitled to believe in their team right now. I said the same thing about Aberdeen fans last year. It's refreshing. I enjoy seeing it. Don't get me wrong. But right now, Celtic fans shouldn't be getting carried away with the ifs, buts, and maybes of Hearts potentially winning a league title. If it's like this come January or February, fair enough. We can then. But as for this moment in time, it's nothing that I think we need to be too terrified about. Let's get this board out the door. Let's get behind the team and let's get a change on the park between now and January. Let's invest in January and let's get some optimism around the place. I'm hoping that the results of the meeting tonight allow us to be optimistic. I seen Rangers put out a statement with an apology to their supporters this evening. We want an apology from our board, and hopefully we get one of those over the next week. So yeah, I'm going to come to you guys in the chat. Oh God, I'm smashing up the place. I don't like not having a PC. I feel all over the place. But before I do come to the chat, before we dictate the last 15 minutes of this stream in your direction, we should talk about the sacking of Russell Martin, because even though it's not Celtic news and even though it concerns the other side of the city, it still directly impacts, of course, what's meant to be traditionally our biggest rivals. And don't get me wrong, I'm not necessarily threatened by an 8th place Rangers right now, but they are going through another change. And yeah, I mean, it was going to happen. It's a disaster. I mean, we've had some poor managers in our time. We've seen some bad managers at Celtic. We've seen Tony Mowbray, we've seen John Barnes. Rangers have had some bad managers in their time, but I think it's safe to say that both Celtic and Rangers haven't saw a worse manager than Russell Martin. It had to change. And listen, I think that it's not going to do much for Rangers this season. I think they've been condemned to Where they're going to spend this season, and I don't mean they're going to be down in eighth place all year, but I think they're out the title race. I know it's early to maybe expel someone from the title race, but I'm not particularly threatened by the group of players Rangers have. I'm not particularly threatened by the setup that Rangers have. I think their problems run a lot deeper than Russell Martin. I think the likes of Felwell, I think the likes of Patrick Stewart, as long as they're at Rangers, allow Celtic to dominate this league, because there is no evidence in any of their CVs to suggest to me that they are in a position of strength right now, or at least can be with a new manager. Now we don't know, and there's the house phone gone. The year's 2025, and we have a house phone. I know I've heard it all before. Give me peace. Um, I I don't know who the next Rangers manager is going to be. Is it going to be Steven Gerrard? I don't know. Is it going to be Sean Dyche? I don't know. Is it going to be Barry Ferguson? I don't know. And I don't really care, to be quite honest. I think the Rangers are still, when Philippe Clement got sacked, I came onto this channel and I came on here and I said, Rangers are further behind Celtic right now at this moment in time than what they were when they returned to the top flight of Scottish football in 2016. And I still stand by that, because I was right. I was quite literally right when I said that about Clement coming in. They then went on a run where they couldn't win a home game with Barry Ferguson, and they're now eighth in the fucking table. I was right. They're quite literally further away from Celtic now than what they were in 2016. So I don't know who's next, and I don't particularly care. Um, but they're a mess. They're a mess, and we're probably quite lucky that they're in such of a mess they are, because this is a real chance to capitalise on Celtic while they're not so great, and while we have as many problems as we do. Um, but hey, listen, a lot of people will maybe sway to the side of the conversation of, oh, well, they're going to get a new manager. We should be scared now. I'm not scared until I see a complete renovation of Rangers Football Club, until I see enough evidence on a football pitch to suggest that Rangers are a threat. I'm not going to, there's like fly in here or something. I'm not going to think that they're a threat. Quite frankly, and that might change. That might change, but it doesn't change as of now. Um, I was on record when they appointed Martin to say, out of all the candidates that they interviewed in the summer, I think he was the best one. And I looked like a dick for saying that, to be fair. But who's next? I don't know. I don't care. Right, let's get to your questions. I've got about 15 minutes where I want to hear your thoughts. I want to hear your questions, and I want to just chat to you guys, because I love these streams, and we have over 500 live viewers in the chat right now. So thank you for tuning in on this Monday evening. I do appreciate it. If you haven't, please hit like and subscribe. You can become a channel member by using the QR code in the corner of the screen, or the join button below, or the top line in the description. And you can also donate as well if you would like to. Thank you to Adam for being a member for 13 months. That is a tremendous showing of loyalty. Saying, thought you would have been at the meeting with having the biggest following of all the fan media. Is everything going to be shared with the fans? So I'm assuming that you have been late to the stream, Adam, and I'll quickly reiterate for those who have joined a little bit later. When we are given, I am under the impression from the email I received earlier that we will receive a rundown of what happened at the meetings tonight. And as soon as I'm allowed to share that information with you, I will share my information and my opinion on this channel. You will probably hear from the main Celtic Fans Collective page on Twitter first. If you're not following that, make sure to do it. But as soon as I can, I will. And the only reason that I'm not at the meeting is because I didn't put my name forward to be part of the steering group. That's the only reason. I didn't put my name forward to do it. So, yeah, QR code's not working. If it's not working, then use the top line in the description. There's a link down there. I'll need to have a look at the QR code. Let's get some questions in. They've still been all over Celtic in the last couple of games and been the better team. That said, we need to improve. Yeah, of course. We do need to improve. And it's been unacceptable, the performances in derbies over these last few weeks and months. I don't know, I say weeks. We played one a few weeks ago, but over this last 6 months or so, or 8 months, I should say, we've been very, very poor in the derbies. We're making them look good, and I don't know why. Rayan, hello, nice to see you, my man. How you doing? He says, hi, Ryan. Thought Engels was brilliant off the bench yesterday. Thought he changed the game. Although I don't think I have been more annoyed at a goal when Nigren scored because of the celebration. So I've seen a lot of discourse surrounding the celebration, and I'm not going to lie to you. Those things don't irk me. The actual the meaning of what he was doing didn't irk me. I think the thing that irked me the most was the fact that he didn't pick up the ball and get going to go and try and score a third. That annoyed me. But the actual like cup in the years or whatever, I don't really care. I don't, and I'm not going to pretend I did yesterday when I saw him do it. But I get it. I mean, if you feel annoyed by it, you're probably quite right to. I just personally wasn't too annoyed by it. But Engels, yeah, I thought he was good off the bench as well. We need consistency. We need consistency out of Arne Engels, and as soon as we get that, I think we have got a player in our hands. I made a big claim that I thought Arne Engels could have been Celtic's Player of the Year this year. I said that before I realised that Brendan Rodgers would drop him from his regular starting 11. But I believe in Arne Engels, I really do. But I just we need more, and we need more regularly out of him. Quite frankly. Nathan, are you buzzing to watch Scotland versus Greece? Getting to watch us live in the World Cup would be bucket list stuff. I hope we make the World Cup. I'll be rooting for us to make the World Cup, of course. And I'm not buzzing because I hate football. I hate football. I've went off football. But I will be watching. I will be watching. I won't be there, but I will be watching. Let's hit the like button. Come on, lads. 570 live viewers, only 50 people have hit the like button. Come on, you can do better. Thank you to who was it who said that? Floyd. Thank you, Floyd. Um, some of our fans talk more about Rangers than worry about how shite we've been. That result is kidding nobody. A lot of players in Rogers' tactics are incapable of going on a run. I mean, it's they're not. I mean, this group of players is not incapable of going on the run. That is grand overreaction to how poor we've been. We've been poor, but we can go on a run. I mean, we're on a run technically. We haven't lost in the league, and that's not me excusing how shit we've been. We have been pathetic. We have been really, really bad, and that needs addressed. And that's why I'm saying this 2 weeks is massive for Celtic, and we need to see improvement between now and January. Big improvement. We have, the full of November and December to really right the wrongs of what has been a poor start to the season. But I think that this notion that things can't get better is far too premature. It's far too premature. If you're just wanting my honest opinion, I think it can get better, and it will get better, because if it got any worse, then God knows how that would happen. But listen, I don't think there's nothing wrong with, a lot of Celtic fans have spoke about Rangers in the last day or so. And listen, I've not made this a channel where I come and talk about Rangers, because it's not that. It's a Celtic channel. I'm a Celtic fan. I couldn't care less what happens at Rangers. But when they sack a manager, it's a talkable point. And I wouldn't fault any Rangers fan for talking about Celtic sacking a manager, because it's big news and it does directly impact you as a rival. So, you can't blame Celtic fans for talking about it. But yeah, we need to improve. There's no excuses for how poor we've been. And yesterday could have been, I could have been sitting here we could have been having a very, very different conversation tonight if Dyson Maeda didn't pop up in the last minute. We could have been having a very, very different conversation. So nobody's, yeah. I'm not certainly fooled by yesterday's performance. I'll tell you that. Thank you, Jackie, for your loyal membership. I appreciate it. You're the best. God bless. What do I make of Kelechi being a cheerleader? What? So what is that? What am I reading? What do you make of Kelechi being a cheerleader? Year gave me Ronaldo in the Euro final. I haven't. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know. Let's see. St Mortal St Rangers are shite. Yep, you're no wrong, Mortal. You're no wrong. You're no wrong at all. Um, Ewan saying we desperately need. Sorry, if you've not caught the start of the stream, I'm getting a new PC. I'm on the laptop. I'm very down in here trying to read comments. So, pardon me if I'm looking ignorant and not staring at the camera. Ewan saying we desperately need to beat them in the semi-final. Don't know what's happened over the last year in the derbies. Yeah, big. Yeah, I think that the main thing is Rodgers has been found out. Even I can admit that as Brendan Rodgers fanboy number one. Rodgers has been found out. His tactics are incredibly predictable, and in these derby games, it's easy for the opposition manager to turn around and go, "Well, this is how they're going to play," and that's now up to Rodgers to change that and to try and fix that. He is a manager that has third season syndrome. It happened at Celtic when he was here the first time. Things weren't exactly great in his last season. It happened at Leicester City, and now it's happening back at Celtic. Happened at Liverpool. Happened at Liverpool. He has got a third season syndrome. So he does need to change something. But I know he can, and I know he will, because he's a top manager. And it doesn't change overnight. You don't suddenly become a poor manager. I don't think, people point to like the likes of Mourinho, who isn't quite what he used to be. These things do happen where you're not as effective as you once were. But Brendan Rodgers hasn't suddenly became a dumb guy. He's a very successful manager for a reason. He's won all these trophies for a reason. And listen, if he doesn't change it by January, maybe I'll be having a different conversation then. But I'm not a victim of TikTok brain. I can be patient, and I'm patient and understanding that things can change. And that's just my opinion. Thank you to Mortal for being a member for 12 months. You're a legend, mate. Year long club. When am I getting a personalised card? What do you want on the card? And we'll try and make it happen. We'll try and make it happen, Mortal. I've got this big bloody thing that you sit like a PC on, so it's not in the ground, and I keep kicking it. And it's making me worried because I think this new PC is going to be huge, and I can see myself kicking it and breaking it, to be quite honest. Um, let's see. Well, I've got to scroll down the chat a bit. So if you really need me, if you need something answered desperately and I haven't seen it, just keep putting it in, and I'll try and get to it as quickly as I possibly can. We have got about another 7 or so minutes left in the stream. I'll run a wee bit longer than the half hour. Um, I thought Nigren made a difference, and I adore him and should start every game. That's a very unique Nigren opinion to see because I see him getting more stick than most players. But fair play to Aidan, who is a big fan of Benji Nigren. Um, Christopher saying, do any Celtic fans honestly think tonight's meeting will achieve anything? Personally, I think it will be one excuse after another from Nicholson and the rest. They won't accept any blame. Listen, it's all about optimism and how optimistic you feel in the quest. Put it this way. If nothing changes at the meeting tonight, and I don't expect anything to change at the meeting tonight, change to this scale that we are looking for does not happen in the space of a meeting. It doesn't happen overnight. And if you have got this illusion that things will change after this meeting, I would quickly suggest you ground yourself a little bit. But that isn't the purpose in the meeting tonight. The purpose is to start a dialogue, to hear what they have to say, and to challenge them on that. And I'm hoping that the people in the room will challenge them on that and maybe we put something forward. But the fact of the matter is this, Christopher, and anybody else who doesn't think much will change, it doesn't matter. Because what it gives Celtic fans is an actual platform and basis to put the next course of action out on top of so that we can turn around and go, this is what they think of us, this is the excuse they're giving us, and you get more fans on board. It's all about action, it's all about affirmative action and positive action, and I think that tonight will give more ammunition for that. Thank you to Aidan for joining the Thunder Club. Welcome, brother. It's good to have you, and I appreciate it. You're an absolute legend. We'll see you in some of the members' streams and videos, which will be back once I get my new PC, by the way, for anybody wondering. We will get back to the FIFA career mode. Don't you worry. Don't you worry. I know you'll be worried, Mackenzie. I know you'll be worried. The Bilbao save will not be returning, though, Joe. We'll be starting a fresh save. Fuck Bilbao. um, yeah, player of the year leader so far definitely is Scales. It's yeah, Scales for me as well, and I'm a Scales critic. Listen, do I think he's perfect? No. Do I still think he's a big part of the problem, moving the ball up the park? Yes, I do. But defensively, he's been fantastic, and when you have the rest of the team performing as poor as they have, then it's pretty much no-brainer, to be honest. And we will be doing the squad tier list as well as soon as the new PC comes, which I always do at this point in the season. So we will do that. Yes, Kieran, we talked about the photo of the board when we scored a little bit earlier in the stream. They looked absolutely fucking miserable. Get it up them. Aidan, what game do you think will be harder, Tynecastle or the semi-final? Hearts obviously much better form, and we've struggled there before, but they always end up up their game, especially at Hampden. Yeah, I mean both are tricky games. I don't think there needs to be a contest between which one is more difficult. To be honest, I think that both of them should be looked at as uniquely difficult games, and I think the Celtic should be quite aware of that, and Brendan Rodgers should be aware of that. We need to see good performances though, and I think they are ultimately the kind of games that any other year I would say a win's a win. Don't care how we do it. Don't care if it's fucking 90th minute, whatever. But I think we really need to have a performance in that game that makes us go right. Big games we can be because this is the thing about big games. Are fans feeling confident going into big games right now? No, are they? Fuck. I don't know the last time I felt confident going into a big game. Munich, probably. So we need to bring that feeling back because if we're not afraid, if Celtic aren't a threat in the eyes of Celtic fans, then God knows what other teams are thinking about us when we play them. So yeah, we need big performances in those games. On the Engels, introduction in the second half as a substitute, he looked a lot better than usual. Yep, he should be using this period of dire midfielders as ammunition to stand up above the rest, you know? And I hope he does that. Patrick asking thoughts on the Sinisalo getting more games, maybe Europa. I love the thought of it. I just don't think it will happen, especially with Kasper Schmeichel in the last year of his Celtic contract and potentially the last year of his footballing career. I think they'll let him. I think Rogers, especially as his pal, will let him see that out unless things get really bad. And they are bad right now for Schmeichel. I'll be the first to admit that, but I just don't see him getting dropped. I think it will stay the way that it is, to be honest. Um, so I would like to see more of him though. Thank you, Alexander, for the donation. You're a legend. Thank you. He says, would love to see more of Shin Yamada. I've not heard his name in a while. Um, listen, listen. I'm not going to sit here and pretend that I'm all that bothered. I think that Kelechi's looked good. I like Kelechi a lot actually. He's really growing on me. Brendan Rodgers didn't want Shin Yamada. We probably shouldn't have signed Shin Yamada. And for that reason, I'm not all that bothered where he is right now. In terms of the pecking order. I don't mean like if he's been kidnapped, I don't care. I hope you're fine, Shin. And I want every Celtic player to work out, but it's hard to justify playing a player that a manager didn't even want, to be quite honest. But yeah, listen, we'll see. Thank you for the donation, though, mate. And hopefully we will see him at some point when he's ready for the stage. But, this was a guy that his record coming into the club wasn't great. Wasn't great at all. I said that when we signed him. I was confused as why we signed him. But listen, it's a conversation for another day. A few more questions before we log off, so let's move. Kieran says, Nigren is such a weird player. I don't notice him doing that much good stuff on or off the ball, but he always gets goals and assists. Yeah, it's pretty much the perfect summary of him. He stat pads and he does it well. But listen, if you're creating and making and scoring goals, sometimes you just need that. I like Nigren. I just need more from him. I need more from most of this team. We need that urgency that we showed in scoring the second goal. Nathan saying, did you agree Hatate done the dirty work excellently yesterday? Won so many tackles and 50-50s, especially in the first half. I would agree. And we need that more. But this is the thing. This is the thing about Hatate. Just because he done that yesterday, I'm not changing my opinion on him this season. He's been fucking mince. And he can't keep getting away with playing well once and then going and doing nothing for 7, 8 games. Like, we need that every week from Hatate. And this is why we're doing so poor in the middle of the park, because consistency just isn't there. But aye, Cine will get the semi-final. Yeah, I think Sinisal will be in goals for the semi-final. I think he is the designated cup keeper. I think Schmeichel's probably very aware of that as well, to be fair. Um, Celtic's biggest title threat is the Celtic board. Yeah, can't disagree with it, Ewan. We should try a different formation. But this is the thing, right? This is the thing. This different formation thing that gets brought up. We don't have the players to do it. We don't. Like this, we tried playing free at the back against Braga and we ended up with fucking Maida at right wing back. And listen, I know when Johnson comes back we might be able to do it and stuff, but it's just I don't know, man. I've never seen the sense in like changing on a whim. It's just not for me. Like, change the way you work within your system before you change the system itself. Because I just don't think that this group of players right now have the confidence to be able to switch into a three at the back formation and making it work from there. Because then suddenly, when you go and end up playing like a team in Europe and you need to go back to four at the back, you're just so out of sorts. Organisation goes out the window. But I get why people say it. I don't think it's not like a terrible suggestion. I just don't think it's going to happen. Right. On that note, as we approach 600 live viewers and we approach 35 minutes of the stream, that is going to do it for tonight. So I thank everybody who tuned in this evening. I thank you to all the members, the new members, and the donators for tonight's stream. I will be back hopefully tomorrow. The new PC could come anytime between now and God knows when. So if, as I said, if anything is patchy, I do appreciate your patience and thank you as always for your support. Take care of yourself. Up the good guys and hope